Along with the extras, we got this cylinder frame system with our machine. So this is great for embroidering trouser legs and shirt sleeves and other cylindrical items you might want to do. So there's a few components you need to know about here. So on the left there we have a mounting jig, which is going to help us get everything loaded up. That is the driver, which attaches to the machine itself. Those thumb screws go with it, don't lose them. And then that's the cylinder frame itself, some bulldog clips for fabric control, and that little black piece there is a foot spacer for the machine, which is also very important, so don't lose that either. So first thing we need to do to use the cylinder frame is to remove the frame mount that's already on the machine. And we do that by taking out the two small thumb screws that are holding it in. So there's one on this side, which is this one. And we are going to need to take it out completely, so keep a good hold of it. And then the second one over here. The larger one on the end is just for adjusting for frame size. That one can stay in place. Once again, take it out completely, and the whole thing should remove. Be careful not to hit any of the mechanism as you're taking it out. Our cylinder driver needs to go on in a similar fashion. So we have the driver itself, and we've got two thumb screws to hold it in. So once again, very carefully around the mechanism. Just put it over the bed, and the two underside thumb screws there, there's a bar there attached to that needs to go in between that part of the frame. Push it all the way to the back and then fasten up the thumb screws. Now the top section, I need to move it to find the right place, but there's two pins on top. That top frame needs to sit in. Then once that's in place, get the thumb screws in. The final part of mounting the driver is to turn the machine on and let the frame mount center by accepting the warning on the screen, and that will straighten up the mount into the right position. There it is. So to get the rest of the system ready, we're going to take our mounting jig, loosen off the thumb screw and mount it onto somewhere sturdy. In this case the table's good. Then we take the frame itself, and these tabs here need to align with these wheels. They're going to hold that in place. So I'm going to line up the notch on the front here with the line there, and clip the whole thing in, like so. Our stabilizer needs to slide on under these bars. There's one on each side, and that's just going to hold that in place. And then our material slides on over the top of that, and I want to make sure I line up the centre of my material with a little V-shaped cutout on the top of the frame here. So I'm going to gently pull it taut. I won't put too much pressure on it because I don't want to stretch it. And then we'll use the bulldog clips along this side bar here to get that secured into place. Same on the other side. That is ready to go. The last piece of the machine prep is to take the foot spacer, and we're going to insert the two pegs on the underside into the two diagonal set holes on either side of the bed here. Make sure that's secure. We're good to go. So I'm going to carefully slide off my prepared frame. I'm going to clip it into place over here. Again, I'm going to be really careful. I'm going to check where my notch is on the top here. That's going to be central, and I'm going to be careful not to snag any of the mechanisms with the extra material. get that all out of the way as best we can in a minute. Check them all in. It looks good. Let's get the material out of the way. And with that, we should be ready to embroider. It's worth noting at this point, there's a couple of things that happen to the machine here. First of all, when you're using this cylinder frame, it runs at a reduced speed, so the maximum speed is a lot less than it is when you've got the straight frames on. So keep that in mind, that your design might take a little bit longer in that respect. You also need to watch your job particularly carefully. As you can see in this video, there's a lot of lateral movement going on, and if you've got the fabric bunched up like I have here, it can very easily move down and start to look like it's going to get in the way of the needles. There isn't really any kind of retaining mechanism on the frame itself, so you need to find a way to keep the fabric out of the way of the needles that you don't want there, or try and find some way of keeping it out of the way safely and without putting your hands in the machine.